Hello and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky and I'm here today with
Justin the Glue
and Colin Cunningham.
And Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
This is amazing. This is live like radio. It's like
April's,
a live drama.
April's been holding on to these things for about 30 minutes waiting to jingle them.
It's that time of year, folks. Get out your eggnog, your rye and ginger, your
Is this like a sexy Christmas
mistletoe,
or something like that?
Oh my God.
Whatever else you like to drink or eat on Christmas. Because this week we watched two really great Christmas movies.
Take off all your clothes, get by the fire.
Okay, they weren't.
Listen to the jingle.
Wait, what's that like? What's it called? What do you like? Go around the microphone?
It's called ASMR.
Yeah.
No.
This is
Okay.
the Jack Frost
All right.
ASMR. Okay, what? Okay. Now your teacher's shaking it, so we
Cut the horse shit.
All right, yeah. So this week we watched the Hulk Hogan classic Santa with Muscles.
Not a porn film.
Surprisingly not, no.
No, that's Santa with muscle.
Ooh. And Jack Frost 2. Oh, what is it called?
Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman.
Not the
Yeah.
sequel to the Michael Keaton movie.
We were very disappointed.
I was really disappointed.
Okay, so Santa with Muscles. I think you guys picked this one. Have you heard about it before?
Okay, here's what I did. We were looking for movies to play this week, and I just Googled worst holiday movies. And this came up. It sort of fit the bill. There were other ones, but I'm like, Hulk Hogan movie. This would be pretty funny. And
Now, are you guys familiar with Hulk Hogan, like as a wrestler and or actor?
Totally.
Not really.
As a wrestler, brother. Brother. I grew up in the 80s.
Dude, you had Hulkmania.
As you know, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s.
Wait, so did you have Hulkmania and did you get your vaccinations?
Absolutely. And here's the deal. I went to the very, very first WrestleMania.
What?
Wait, not the live event.
Okay,
But
the Canadian version?
A live showing of the event in Toronto.
Man, you buried the lead.
Sorry.
I saw the Beatles on a
it's like-
photo that was on my dad's wall.
Not quite the same.
It was my friend's birthday, and they were live play. I say
They took
live.
out the 8mm projectors, the hand crank
No,
ones?
it was almost. So we went to Roy Thompson Hall.
Wow, that's a big theater.
And they just had Roy Thompson Hall is an opera, like a kind of classical music theater in Toronto. It's very beautiful. You see it in the X-Men movie, but all they had is a large screen TV, and they were just showing it on the TV.
Wow.
And that's it. And
There's
then we
no
watched.
punchline to that
So
story.
Hulk Hogan was in this?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was amazing. King Kong
he
Bundy.
like burst out of the TV at the end of it. And
He goes, "Yeah, brother. Yeah, we're gonna sing some opera."
So yeah, I've been aware of Hulk Hogan, but I was never into wrestling. But I don't think I've actually seen...
Like a Hulk Hogan wrestling match?
Yeah, no. I was going to say a Hulk Hogan movie, but no, I've also not seen a
It's
wrestling
okay.
match other
Nobody
than
has.
the scene in Rocky 4.
Thunder Lips.
No, that was 3, by the way.
Oh, was it 3?
It was
Yeah, it was
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And also, wasn't he in Gremlins 2?
Yes, he was
Yeah.
in the theatrical version where the projector breaks and someone's like,
Yeah.
"Who can deal with these gremlins?" And Hulk Hogan like pops up and rips his shirt off.
What?
Yeah, you haven't seen that? And Paul
Yeah.
Bartel is one of
I've
the.
never seen Gremlins 2.
Well, you should come to the Royal Cinema in January for Mega Fun Movie Explosion
Really?
because we'll be playing Gremlins 2.
Oh.
Yeah, we should do that.
I was saving it. It was on my iTunes list, but now I'm
Well,
going
I'll
to watch
see
it
it in the theater, though.
Santa with muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Santa with Muscles. So this is Hulk Hogan's starring vehicle. It's a Christmas movie, but it takes place in California.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan didn't want to leave like his house more than like
That's what I was
30
saying.
feet. Yeah,
He's like,
I'm
I'm not-
stealing Colin's joke.
I'm not going 30 minutes from my
Brother.
house, brother.
He's
You need
got
to say brother
like,
at the end so we know it's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He's got quite a tan in this movie.
He's
Yeah,
always
he's
had
always
a tan.
tan.
He's like
Oh.
permanent.
He's always
He's
tan.
tattoo tan.
He's permatan.
It's like people like you see it like get their hairlines like tattooed on.
We're gonna get
to
back to
that.
He's also like not as like huge as he was previously. Like he's Santa with muscles. He still has huge muscles.
Yeah.
But he's not like big and hulking. Like, you know, in the 80s when the guys were like really like bulking a lot.
You're
and
thinking
they're
of like the Ultimate
like,
Warrior. He's
yeah,
the one that was
like,
like, oh,
Oh,
like they're
R.I.P.
huge.
putting the plane in a nosedive.
Oh no, it was just like gibberish.
Yeah, he, especially at the beginning of the movie, because we're introduced to Hulk Hogan as like a millionaire Like
We don't know that at first, and it seems like
he's a super spy of some kind.
he's just beating people up. He's in this big mansion, and he's running around in camouflage. And
Yeah, like beige camo, desert camo, I guess.
you realize he's just beating his employees.
Yeah, and he's like an eccentric millionaire who, like, his exercise is pretending to be an action hero. And I think Hogan does a good job at coming off as a rich, pompous ass.
Yeah,
for
who
a
sells
second-
merchandise.
Yeah, it's almost like the Pink Panther movies when
Like
he's
Inspector Clouseau.
yeah, he's
against,
fighting
Kato.
Kato, and he's got to keep sharp, and he's like timing himself, and he's saying, whenever I beat you guys up in like 4 minutes.
So how would you consider Hulk Hogan as an actor?
I would say one note. It's not that he's
The brown note?
bad, but he kind of
Shouldn't have eaten this.
It's
That's
Hulk
a good
Hogan.
joke for you, Hulk Hogan. Sex tape.
Everybody knows what that is, basically. But he kind of has one speed, which
Yeah.
is earnest and happy, and sincere, I guess.
Yeah,
he's
well-
he's enthusiastic.
Well, I mean, Hulk Hogan was never a very good wrestler, according to people that I know who watched him. But he was very charismatic, and that's why kids liked him.
He's charismatic, like in the ring. You know what I mean? He's good at the big, broad, sort of gestures, and like whoa, and like all that sort of stuff. But in this, especially at the beginning, I was like, man, he's not a good. He's got a very bland delivery.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny how many wrestlers turn actors, but they always start off with these kind of big, bombastic roles that don't require a lot of nuance,
Subtlety or
like look
nuance,
at The
yeah.
Rock, like he started off with like the Scorpion King and stuff
The Rundown,
like that.
the best movie he's ever made.
Oh my god, lightning,
yes,
thunder,
that.
thunder and lightning.
I haven't seen it.
And so, what's the plot of Santa with Muscles, though?
Well, what is the plot?
I mean, basically, Hulk Hogan gets hit on the head.
It's a
and
classic tale.
He gets amnesia, like a god of gamblers, if you will. And someone convinces him, like, he doesn't actually believe he's Santa.
It's
he's
it's actor Dan Stark from that '70s show.
everyone's favorite that '70s show character.
He's not Kurtwood Smith from.
No.
He's the other
he
guy. with
kind
the
of
afro.
thinks he's Santa, right?
No, I think he just doesn't know who he is, and he's just kind of going through the motion because he ends up saving the life of an orphanage owner, and he ends up living at the orphanage.
It's a very bizarre movie.
Yeah,
So
and then there's this evil genius, and it's Ed Begley Jr., and he has all these minions, and then all his employees. You can't say minions anymore. That word is like tainted.
because you all think of like the
People
animated
think of the
minions?
yellow things, but yeah.
So,
So
like,
they
if you
go
say he has a
after
bunch
him.
of minions, people think that, like, he'll
Yeah,
have, like,
dude.
animated minions.
But it's
Yeah.
basically like Ed Begley Jr. is trying to buy up all the land around the orphanage because there's like electrified crystals.
Yeah, and you
underneath
don't
the
find about the
orphanage.
crystals until like the
Magic
last third of the
glowing
movie.
crystals.
That's in the last
It
act.
goes
but
like
that's-
science fiction. It's bizarre. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a family movie. It's a comedy. It's a Christmas movie. It's an action movie and a science fiction.
Can
movie.
you have a Christmas movie with no snow?
It's in
I don't
LA.
know.
It's very clearly shot in LA.
Yeah.
Was there snow in Die Hard?
No, there wasn't.
There was not.
No.
It's still a Christmas movie.
Ooh, controversial statement that I agree with.
I know.
I think it counts, but
Sure.
it doesn't feel very Christmassy. The only thing Christmassy is Hulk Hogan in a Santa suit.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wears a hat to hide his bald head.
Okay, now.
Okay, so what was your favorite part, Colin, of this movie?
Well, I have to say, okay, I know. I think I
His
know.
hair?
No. I think no. That's
completely real hair.
that isn't my favorite part.
Okay.
That's my most suspect part. So, okay, we'll talk about that later. But I think I know what you guys are going to pick. So I'm going to say, I think going into this movie, like we kind of looked it up on IMDb. It's always like the top of the worst Christmas
like
movie of all time.
2.5
It's
on
really
IMDb.
low.
Just really low on IMDb. And I was kind of shocked at how not bad. Not that it's good. Or not that I would watch this again, but I'm like, I've seen way, way worse
The
movies.
camera's like on cranes. It's competently made.
This thing is like, it's
Yeah.
very slick. And the director, John Merlowski, I think is his name, he's got a lot of credits, but it's stuff just sort of like straight to video
Yeah.
and made for TV movies. Like he did I think it's like a made for TV Richie Rich live action Christmas special or something like
Oh,
that.
was Macaulay Culkin in it?
No.
There's no way. Yeah.
No.
He directed a film called Automatic that I really, really like.
Really?
And I've always wondered, like, because no one ever talks about his other movies because they're mostly DTV direct kind of stuff. So it makes me wonder, like, why is Automatic so much fun? And Santa with Muscles is pretty slick. And it's just, could he not get it off the ground? Is it like a law of diminishing returns as he goes on?
There's a level of competence in the movie, and especially, I think, like at one point we just like, wow, the camera work is actually really good in this movie.
Yeah,
like
it's
there's a lot of like
interesting.
steady cam shots.
It's
one takes.
paced.
One takes and like crane
Yeah.
ups, and then there was a fight in like a kind of bell tower, and seemed to be some like big, huge crane shot going by, and it was like, oh, okay.
You know, it makes you wish that movies were like this slick now. Like there's something that's missing when you watch DTV films now because they've realized how cheap can we make them and people will still watch them.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the least amount of effort, and I think this is one of those movies that like, it's clearly a kids movie, and we could just get away with so little. He actually like tried to make it as good as he
Yeah.
could.
I mean, my favorite part is probably the reason why it's that slick, and that's producer Jordan,
oh my god,
Jordan Belfort.
the Wolf of Wall Street
I
himself.
almost died when I saw this. In the opening credits, I kind of read about it on the IMDb. Like, it's rumored that whatever. No, it's right in the opening credits.
Yeah, I guess he was in his coked out phase because he invested in, I believe, 6 or 4 movies this year.
6 movies. Okay, this movie was made in 1996.
That's like definitely like money laundering operations
like-
to clean
I
up
think
money.
so, yeah.
But it's like his he produced 6 movies in 1996, 2 with Hulk Hogan.
They were probably buddies.
The Hulkster was on fire. I mean, 1996, that's far into the Hulkster's reign. Like, because he was big in the like,
This was the
late
second
80s.
stage.
Oh, the NWO, New World Order.
Yeah, so what happened was, there was Mr. Nanny, there was Suburban Commando, there was No Holds Barred, and then there was a
Oh, I
gap.
forgot about No Holds
There was
Barred.
probably about a 5-year gap, and then this movie came in, Santa with Muscles.
This was like his big comeback.
yeah, and
And by the way, the title of this movie is stupid.
come on.
It makes me think of like Snakes on a Plane.
Exactly.
It's like it's
Wouldn't you
so
want, like-
simple and dumb.
Would you prefer something like Muscly Santa
Yeah.
or Strong Santa?
Millionaire Amnesia Santa.
Millionaire Amnesia Strongman Santa?
What was your favorite part, April?
Okay, so in this movie, there are about 100 side characters, and I'm not even talking about the orphanage people.
You're talking about Clint Howard?
We forgot to mention Clint Howard's in this.
All right, we gotta
and Mila
take a-
Kunis.
We got to take a moment here because April actually asked us. She's like, "Who do you think is handsomer, Clint Howard or Ron Howard?"
I thought maybe it was Ron.
And we
Or
were like,
Clint.
wait,
no,
Ron.
I thought it was Clint.
You're like, "I think Clint is," and I'm like, "You are the like." I hope Clint Howard has a Google alert on his name.
Because, oh God, no, I hope he doesn't after we post this episode.
Well, what I was saying was, look at all the movies Clint Howard is in, and his brother is the behind the camera.
Yeah, he's the ugly one.
Yeah.
He's the...
He's not looking too good lately. But
But he's old.
He's
Okay.
75.
all right, but isn't
No,
it
he's not. No, he's not.
Howard's not that
isn't it
old.
funny how someone can be as ugly then apparently as Clint Howard is
Listen.
and still be in like hundreds upon hundreds
Yes,
of movies?
look at Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
He's
I
not what
guess
you'd
so.
call classically handsome.
Who would you? I mean, you definitely pick Steve Buscemi between Steve Buscemi and Clint Howard, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
just make it a threesome.
Okay. What
It's a
about
tough choice.
what about back in the day? If you had a choice between,
Did you ever watch Happy Days?
No,
April?
I mean
Okay.
maybe I've seen a
Okay,
clip.
if you had a
but
choice between Grand Theft Auto, Ron Howard.
I've never seen it.
Okay,
I didn't
Happy
even-
Days, Ron.
She's never seen
Howard.
Happy Days.
He was in that movie
damn it.
American Graffiti.
American
right?
Graffiti,
Okay, I
which is
guess
pretty much
so.
the same.
I
as-
like the idea that you imagine Ron Howard's like a Phantom of the Opera
No.
like monster like hiding behind the camera.
Don't look at me. This is why I direct.
Look at Arrested Development
The true
voiceover.
missing.
Yo,
Yes,
that's-
that's
yeah,
right.
that's-
Yeah, he can't show his face.
Disembodied voice.
This is why I do narration.
Yeah,
like the Elephant Man. He has, like,
Sorry.
that's what I'm thinking.
take out the handsome one, Clint Howard, the only one who can appear before the camera.
It's pretty bad when apparently Clint is the handsome of the two brothers.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi has another brother that's really ugly.
So anyway, back to Clint Howard. So he's in this movie.
Jimmy Buscemi.
Buscemi.
Steve's ugly brother.
He's a famous director.
It can happen.
He changed his name.
right,
Okay,
David Fincher.
so Clint Howard is in this movie as a bumbling traffic cop.
Yeah.
But that's actually not what I was talking about. So there's so many henchmen. I'm going to use henchmen instead of minions of Ed Begley Jr. And whatever your occupation is, that's what your outfit is for every scene in your life in this movie.
It's pure cartoon rules.
Yeah. So if you're a chauffeur, you're wearing the tuxedo and the hat everywhere. There's a chef in this movie who is wearing like the comically large
chef's
and floppy chef's hat, and I think maybe he's also like carrying around a whisk.
And he
fights with
speaks in
it.
a very French accent.
Oh, did he? Yeah. And there's also so Ed Begley Jr. is actually not even in this movie that much. The second level down is the doctor, evil doctor, who kind of looks like Paul Scheer with long hair.
He looks like Paul Scheer mixed with Richard E. Grant.
Richard,
Yes.
I didn't get the Richard E. Grant.
Just like
maybe
he's
a little, but
tall and
so
gangly
he
and
he wears a lab coat everywhere and a stethoscope everywhere, and it's just like it's like kid rules.
Yeah,
like
let us not forget the
cartoony
woman who
rules.
has electrical powers.
Yeah, so she
yeah.
has this outfit, which is like a short skirt. It's like something from an 80s new wave pop video, and she has these electrical gloves.
No, she has two
on
Nintendo Power Gloves.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
That's what they
It's
did with
on
all
her
the, like-
everywhere.
The landfill. They dug them out.
There's also some like really bad like accents and stereotypes. You know,
Canadian stereotype.
Like,
Yeah, where they're
Asian
like,
people.
They're like, he's Canadian, and he never he just
Yeah.
has buck teeth, and he loves the smell of
I
farts.
I didn't get that one, but
He's
there's
like a Canadian like
like
gas
gas
specialist,
man. Yeah.
I guess he's the guy
He's a
who's like
scientist or something.
It's like like a geologist or something like that.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
maybe
yeah.
he's part of the team. And there's like Safari Man who has a safari hat, and
He's a geologist.
So whoever was in charge of costumes on this movie really went above and beyond.
Whatever was on discount at like November 1st at the Halloween store.
Yeah,
Geology man,
it was just,
scientist
it was
man.
bizarre.
I mean, the electrical lady does get a short skirt when she goes to prison as well.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
cool.
insane.
In the co-ed
the
prison.
craziest costume of it all. They're all in prison together, and it's black and white striped outfits. But she's got like a short skirt striped outfit, which sounds like she'd probably get assaulted in prison. You right, guys?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but she's
you went a
probably
little dark. In the co-ed prison they're in. I
It's
mean,
a co-ed prison.
Jordan
Ugh.
Belfort's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed at the Christmas content in this film because it was pretty low. Like after he stopped like being Santa Claus, the film ends with a sword fight in this crystal cavern.
It looks like something out of Indiana Jones.
between Ed Begley Jr. and
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
And then
It explodes.
and then I think you said you're like, it doesn't feel very Christmassy. And then
Then we realized
it
Hulk
says Hulk
Hogan was
Hogan was just
a-
wearing a Santa hat,
Yeah.
but
And that's
nothing
it.
else. Just like
Yeah,
a
it's
black-
to hide his bald spot, right, Colin?
Okay.
So the biggest
Okay,
discussion
this
we
is a
had
bone of contention we had.
is that Colin's like, look at his bald head and that wig, and he said it like 5 times.
This is a wig. This is 100%.
We weren't
a
sure
wig.
if it was a wig or not because
I mean,
it
He's
doesn't
more
look like
bald
his normal
in Rocky
hair.
3, which is like 10
He
years
is.
before
we
this.
looked up photos, and he's like full on bald.
You
and
were-
what did April say?
No,
He's
no,
like,
you
maybe
were-
it's his look.
I was saying he was playing a bald character.
No, I said.
So
I
the
showed you a picture of
character-
Mr. Nanny, and he was
Yeah.
full on bald, and you're like, well, maybe he's just playing a bald character.
Mr. Nanny is bald.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he's not Mr. Nanny here. He's Hulk
Like, you read
Hogan.
the script. He's like,
But he does have hair. Like if it's a good wig because it's like a bald man's wig.
It's a
this is-
receding hairline.
yeah.
exactly. It's like you're like, no, you can see through it. And it's very wispy, and there's bald patches. Just because you have a wig as a bald actor doesn't mean it has to be a full head of
I
hair.
feel like if Hulk Hogan he'd pick like a lion's mane that he could put on top of his
I don't
head.
know if
He didn't
no,
get John Travolta's wig guy.
he's been a visible, he's one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, the most popular people.
Yeah.
Everyone knows he's bald. He's not going to all of a
So
sudden.
he wants to fool people like us that
It's-
we're like, oh, he must have grown his hair.
Or-
It's like,
or his
no.
little kids.
I'll fool it for the
dum-dums.
I'll fool the 10 people that see my movies.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not playing a bald character in this one.
No.
He's like, what does the script say?
Well, he's like, I'm playing a millionaire in this. A millionaire
A
wouldn't
millionaire
be
with a
wouldn't
full
be
head of hair. It's
bald.
right there in the script.
I mean, he still wears the classic Hulk Hogan bandana. As
in, like,
Colin
one
pointed
scene.
out, that when he went to court, he wore a formal bandana that was black. Look up photos online. It's really
It's
funny.
true. He went to court and he sued Gawker.
And won,
R.I.P.
yeah.
Yeah, he won like $250 million. Or
I
something.
wonder if he did that because he wanted to like look good and buy favor with the jury because they like the
Bald man
bandana.
was liar.
Bandana takes me back because remember like when Paul Rubens was caught jerking off.
Did he show up in his Pee Wee outfit to court?
No, but he like cut his hair to look just like Pee Wee
Really?
again. Yeah, because you saw that mugshot
No,
when
I
they
didn't.
arrested
Oh,
him.
yeah,
he
he was
had
all
long
scraggly
hair and he
and
looked
gross.
like gross.
every-
and so
His
he's
blow
like, I need to look like my lovable television.
Every
personality.
lawyer will get you to do that. You know, like, we know. Trust me. Oh, man.
Yeah, wear a sweater. It makes you look more, like Mr. Rogers.
That's why my all my
Yeah, when
They
Colin
want
throws
to
a-
see Mr. Rogers.
When
up on
Colin
the
throws a
stand.
sweater on, I'm like, where'd Colin go? Mr. Rogers is here.
all my closet is just sweaters. Just sweaters for court.
Santa with muscles, not as bad as we thought it was going
You
to be.
know what? Not as bad. I would say it's long.
It's
a
no,
ti-
no jingle all the way.
No,
I kind of feel like it's not that far from Jingle All the Way.
Ooh.
I know it's controversial because I know you love that movie.
5 stars.
But
I
we
don't like
we
it.
I love
actually
Jingle All
sat
the
down
Way.
and watched Jingle All the Way last year, and while it is very fun, and I love Arnold,
Balthazar!
Sinbad is really, really annoying in
It's
that
just
movie,
very
and he's just
obnoxious.
constling,
His
yelling,
son
and
has
screaming.
died. His son has been dead.
That's
Wait.
a fan theory.
what?
No,
You
it's
heard
like
that fan theory? That like
Yeah.
Sinbad's son is dead, and he does this every year
because
to
you
like,
never see the son at the
because
end. I don't
to
think.
bring his son back to
Oh
life.
my God! Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh my God! So it's like
Bueller's
planes,
been
trains,
dead.
and automobiles.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's all Cameron's dream.
That's terrifying.
But no, like this movie, it is get a little boring, but it's not as obnoxious as that movie it can be.
Yeah, there is definitely. I was expecting. When people really hate movies,
Yeah.
it's usually the obnoxious ones that are just like.
I think they hate the Hulkster. That's why this movie has
Probably.
its
I
low
think
rating.
so, and I don't think it deserves the rating that.
And
it got.
he actually had some funny lines.
Mm-hmm.
There was genuine comedy that I was
He's pretty
laughing
fun.
at
And
in
you know
this
what?
movie.
When he's with the young girl and stuff, and she's really adorable, and it's
Yeah.
just like they have some really sweet scenes, and
It was a heartwarming movie.
Speaking of heartwarming movies, the second film we watched,
More like a heart-chilling movie.
and a film that's also very disliked by people who see it, Jack Frost 2,
Really?
Revenge of the Killer, Mutant Snowman.
I don't get it. So Justin, tell us about this movie because
This is a
I know
sequel.
nothing.
A
Yeah.
sequel to a very
It's a sequel to the
Popular
movie
movie.
you might remember if you were a kid and you went to the video store
Yes.
and you picked it up because it had a hologram cover where it'd be
Yeah.
a snowman and then you would turn it and be, "Roar!"
And it
that
said-
was the first one.
you would just walk
And
by
it's
it.
starring
Oh, that's
Michael
Snowman.
Keaton.
And so there was a sequel to it because I assume it made tons of money because of that hologram cover, and it's much cheaper. This is like the beginning of the digital video era, and you can feel it just looking at it.
But you were saying what the first one was shot on
35.
35.
Yeah, it was 1996. So
Okay.
I don't think like unless you're shooting on video, it wasn't really an option.
Okay.
And here it was like, oh, it's 2000. Now we have digital cameras. No one can tell.
Let's
We
put
can
all
tell.
the money
We
into
can
the
tell.
actors.
And so like they switch it up. It's definitely a lower budget than the first one, which takes place like over a whole town and has like kids and stuff like that. This was shot on a soundstage somewhere.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're like, no, they were
That
in the
was a-
Caribbean.
No, that guy had the accent. It was in the Caribbean.
Yeah, Caribbean.
Sorry.
No, I said it wrong as
Caribbean.
well.
Well, whatever.
And so it basically the plot is that the sheriff from the first one decides to go to a warm place during Christmas with his wife and family members because he doesn't want any Jack Frost related stuff to happen. And they're like, you're being paranoid. Nothing wrong is happening.
Nobody believes him.
Of course, Jack Frost comes back on the soundstage where they're staying and he murders a bunch of people.
Everybody.
That's basically the plot of this movie.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part, April?
Well, it did have an all-star cast.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Much like the last movie. Doug Jones shows up
Okay,
in this
yeah,
movie.
that
And
was
we're like, is
amazing.
that Doug Jones?
Because Colin was like, that looks like Doug Jones. And I was like, yeah, it does.
Kinda
And then we
did.
were like, no, it couldn't be. And it was.
Yeah,
it was
it
him.
was.
And it was. And he's in it for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah. if
Ian
that.
Abercrombie, Mr. Pitt from Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Very briefly
He's
at
in
the
the opening
beginning.
scene.
He was
for-
really like the marquee name to get people through the door.
He wasn't in the first one, was he?
I don't believe so, no.
No.
No. Like when people see him like in the opening scene,
They're
they're
like,
like, "Oh
"Oh,
my
man,
god,
yeah,
yeah,
this
we
movie."
did get our money's worth."
April the robot from Buffy is in this, and that girl from Can't Hardly Wait also in this movie. So, but they all get killed pretty quickly.
Yeah,
so,
they do. All the big names.
Yeah.
Pay 'em for a day, kill them right off.
Exactly.
It's true.
I mean, my favorite part of this film is definitely how fun the kills are. And like this is a period where there's some really funny CG effects in this movie,
Yeah.
but not to the point that you're like, oh, I feel ripped off. Like most of the stuff that happens,
It all fits in the tone.
it fits in the tone of what's
Yeah.
going on. And when it comes to like the gore, not only is it super creative, it's all like practical stuff. Like, of course, some dum-dum puts his tongue on a pole and then Jack Frost rips it off and the whole tongue goes.
That
Sorry, I thought
was
you were talking about
cool.
me for a second.
Oh yeah, that's right. While we were watching the movie, Colin Cunningham of No Such Thing as a Bad Movie,
He
we
admitted.
were like, who would be dumb enough to put their tongue on a pole? I'm like, I knew a kid who did it when I was in school, and April's like, yeah, I did too. And then like as we're talking, Colin in the background looks very quiet. He's like, I did it,
I said I did it.
and like you just pulled it off, right?
I was
They
a
didn't have to
very-
call the police or anything like that.
No, I was a very young kid, and I was like,
And you were
I think,
thirsty.
I think my excuse was like, man, I'm really thirsty. I know
such a dumb-
if I put my tongue on the
That's
pole,
yeah. You wouldn't eat the snow or anything like that, or
No,
drink
it's just
from
like,
a puddle.
Hey, I used to
dogs
eat,
could have peed.
I
in
used
it.
I used to eat snow sometimes.
Hey,
so
did you?
there you go.
Everybody-
yeah,
do you still
we
eat
all
snow?
did. No, it
yeah.
doesn't even snow
Well,
enough
you
in
know what?
Toronto.
Yeah,
to do
she
that.
actually collects it back. In the
Colin did it 3 years ago, and his tongue has healed since then.
no, but I put my
So thirsty.
I was
These
so thirsty.
pretzels are making me thirsty.
I was
That's
eating
so
a lot
many
of like
Seinfeld
salt,
references.
but like I put my tongue on the
Yeah,
it
the
was
salt
like,
on the ground they
it was
use in the
a
snow.
put my tongue on the pole and it stuck and I started panicking. I was like, oh shit!
Was anybody around?
No, I
Had you
think
not seen Dumb and Dumber by this point?
No, that
Dude, this
probably
was-
wouldn't
this
be
was
out yet.
1965. Shut up.
No, the Christmas Story. That's the
Yeah, that's the
classic,
classic.
tongue to the thing. But that was also, I think,
no, this was
80s.
way before that.
Yeah.
and so I pulled it off, and it tore a chunk of my. It wasn't a big chunk, but it was like the superficial kind of like
Yeah,
patch of my
top
tongue
of
off,
your tongue.
and my tongue was bleeding, and I was like, ooh.
Is it like that, like,
and I
like
said-
don't touch the stove type thing? It's like you're not.
Oh, I did that
supposed
too.
to. Oh my god!
With his tongue.
like,
He's like, my tongue's cold.
No, it was my tongue was stuck to the frozen pole, and then I like put my finger on the stove.
yeah. It's like, you're not
Lean
supposed
out
to
the
do
window
this.
and then- yeah.
Can't help it.
No,
Did you
I did.
touch the stove?
I don't think so. I accidentally burn myself all the time when I'm cooking. But
No,
I
I put my finger on the stove as a kid, and then I ran into the bathroom to hide my screams and cries.
Really?
So I wouldn't tell my mom that I was that dumb to touch the stove.
Well, I actually did something like that the other day when I was making that caramel. I made this Christmas
Delicious.
candy thing.
No, we just ate like 5 pounds of caramel.
Hot caramel, when you make it, is so
Oh, she did.
freaking hot. I had a candy thermometer actually, and so I was pouring it out, and then a big glob got, and I was like, I didn't have enough hands. I didn't have a spoon, so I grabbed it with my
Kirsty's
finger.
2 hands.
I know. I wish I had more. I grabbed it with my finger and it's burning my hand. And I thought about it and I thought about it
Did
and
you
I
put it
put
in
it in my
your
mouth. Yeah. I know. And I was like, I don't know what to do. So
This is the best thing. So I was watching.
my mouth is okay.
No. So
Like, I don't burn my genitals.
I was watching
Burn both.
TV. I think I was playing a video game, watching TV.
Yeah.
And I just heard April go like,
Ow! Oh!
no. She went, oh. And I was like, wow,
That
that caramel
tastes
sounds
really good.
delicious.
burn my finger. Really, my mouth
I
is
go,
fine. My
wow,
mouth
that
is
sounds
fine.
good. And she's like, oh, my mouth.
It's like I burned my finger, and so then I had to pull it off, and I was like, I think I lost a layer of skin on my finger, but mouth was fine. But I was like, I gotta like do something to help this burn.
Well, the
So wait, afterwards you were
really
like,
stupid.
oh,
Yeah,
Colin, let me see your butt.
yeah, it's the closest thing.
Well, I gotta tell you, the cooled version of that caramel was delicious.
Oh,
So I'm glad you liked
So
it.
good.
But back to the movie.
Which one?
We were talking about
Frost 2, Revenge of the
CGI and
Practical.
practical. It was actually mostly practical. But
Anytime like Jack Frost like melted or stuff like that,
Yeah.
then it cut to like a cartoon like
a lot
video
of
toaster.
times there
Which
was
is fine.
there was like a combo, so you would see like a CGI icicle flying through the air, and then
Yeah.
it just cut to it in someone,
Which is good. It's not trying to be amazing.
No.
It's whatever.
It's self-aware.
There's like a snowball that gets thrown, and then you see a guy's arm like fly off, and then
Yeah.
blood
It's
shoot
amazing,
out.
and,
It's
like,
all chunky real blood.
Oh God! When it starts spraying out on that girl's face, and
Yeah.
it's,
That
just,
was
it's,
funny.
oatmeal
it's
and shit.
immediately oatmeal without barely any blood.
It looked
Her
like
guts are, like, flying
guts. That was great, and
It's really funny.
A lot of times, like you could tell, like at one point, there's a whole bunch of baby snowballs.
Oh, and they're so
little
cute.
critters.
They're
so
they're
cute.
like sponges.
Like
They-
little styrofoam
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
puppet things.
They don't really look like snow, but it really
They're very
doesn't
cute.
matter.
They're adorable.
You know,
And then they have the little stupid.
there was an earnestness to, especially the gore scenes.
Yeah,
and
I
the
mean,
violence.
when you come to a movie like this, like what I want is like creative gore, a sense of humor. It doesn't always have to be funny. Like this is like a lot of jokes kind of like land with thuds in this because it's very broad and wacky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think like
it's a comedy. It's a horror comedy all the way.
It's almost like I was expecting a lot less. And again,
Me
this
too.
is like a kind of theme for this
Episode.
evening.
Well, it comes down to like directorial intent, and it's like the director has a grasp of the material structurally
Yeah.
and like how to move the camera. It's just not quite fast enough and like on point to like really make it you gotta see this.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a kind of like if you just put it up a little
Yeah.
notch here and a notch there, it'd be like really amazing. But I think the actors are
Very committed.
very committed. And
Would you call that your favorite part?
I think it was my favorite part because it was very surprising. It's like, it's no Hulk Hogan.
No.
Well, I'd only seen the shower scene from the first movie.
It was Jessica Biel.
That wasn't Jessica Biel.
Yes, it was.
Wasn't
Was it
the
really?
woman-
It was Jessica Biel.
I've never-
Wait,
I've
wait.
never seen
I thought
the
it was the woman
Oh,
from
no, wait,
American
I'm wrong.
Pie.
Yeah, American Pie.
They-
What's her
they
name?
looked-
Is it Jessica as well?
I think it's like Natasha or
no,
something.
okay, I'm confused.
I'm
Jay
not-
and Silent Bob's, whatever her name
That
is.
might have been her name in American Pie, but yeah, like I saw like, and I think I just saw a clip of that on like a Half in the Bag or something, and I was like, that looks like the most horrible shit ever.
Shannon Elizabeth. That's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Her career really took off after that movie. But this was, incredibly impressive for a low budget horror.
It was
comedy.
fun, and what I like about the worst thing about these low budget movies is something that's really boring. The jokes are terrible, and the acting is awful. And I think this movie, for me, I think the acting was competent. It was pretty good.
Of the main characters, yeah.
Absolutely, like everyone kind of knew what they were in for.
April
and-
has like one beef with a certain character. of this
All
movie.
the like famous characters that get killed off quickly were not too great. Oh, and also I hated that
Captain Fun.
Captain
he was
Fun.
like- yeah.
He was fucking annoying.
Well, as soon as he came on screen, I turned to you guys. I'm like, oh God, if this is a real person, I would kill him in real life.
This like what?
But you know what? The movie was listening to April's complaints because at one point she went, "Man, he's not dead yet," and then 30 seconds later he died.
He got an icicle in the face or something.
yeah, and
I think it
April
was in
like
the
put
eye.
her fingers up to
Yeah.
her forehead and was like,
Exactly.
I saw her
Gets
like
one wish every
no,
10
I like
years.
saw her forehead like throbbing, and then like the guy died immediately. It was really weird.
It's,
man.
wow, that is
Yeah.
weird.
And then she wanted more like ice in her drink, and then I just saw these
Like-
like ice cubes.
No, it's Jack Frost.
like back to the practical effects. Like there's a CG shot of like an icicle going through an actor's mouth.
Yeah.
and then there's a wipe to a dummy of that actor with an
great.
icicle in his mouth.
great.
Mwah.
That's what I mean.
love.
This
yeah,
beautiful
you gotta
combo.
have the use the CG as like the kind of trickery.
Yeah.
you know the.
They use it to hide things, to conceal things. They're using it properly, the way it should
Yeah.
be used, you know? And I can't believe I'm saying this about Jack Frost 2, Attack of the Mutant Snowman.
know.
or
They
whatever
use
it's
the
called.
CG
They
the
know.
way that
There was
it's
a lot-
meant to be used.
There was,
Yeah.
Mamma mia! Just like my Nona used the CG.
just a sprinkle on it.
Just a sprinkle of the CG.
I also wanted to mention the sound effects in this movie. The sound effects, sound effects and the musical stings, which are stock music, which we're guessing maybe your iMovie
Yeah,
sounds.
it sounds like
gotta be.
iMovie or GarageBand or
That
something like that.
Oh, they get-
Dun, at least 20 times.
It's the sound when like the gopher turns around and it zooms
Yeah,
in on his
exactly.
face.
Yeah.
The dramatic gopher. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, because if you took a shot every time, you would die. Because it's like 12 times.
Oh,
it's enough
Jesus
times
Christ.
that it's obviously a joke.
And it's like the splotch sound effects, the punching sound effects. It's like the kind that you've heard a million times in every YouTube video and everything that's cheap.
I love that like head crunch sound effect, like
Yeah,
which
I know
you've
that
heard like a
sound.
million
Yeah.
times.
Well, after you've
Watch Teddy Bomb if you want to hear it a lot.
To be honest, after you've heard this stuff enough times, if it's used in a comedy, it makes me
Yeah,
laugh
it's very
because
funny.
it's like it reminds you of just every other time you've heard it. So it's
Exactly.
almost
You just see like a sound guy being
intentional.
like, head crush wet.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
you just like
that comes up
Google,
first,
and that's
yeah.
the first thing that comes up.
Yeah,
Choose
it's true.
So wait, your favorite part of those musical stings, April?
Yeah, I mean, I did mention the actors, but my favorite part is actually the musical stings.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's a bit of a bummer that like it's not more well loved than it actually is, because it's usually talked about fairly dismissively. I mean, I know the first one was released by Vinegar Syndrome a few years ago, so it got like a special edition.
So the first one is more revered.
Yeah, I mean,
So weird.
mostly probably because of like its reputation as like the video store one, and it's slicker. It feels more like a real movie.
I guess.
But
I don't know, but this is like everything I would expect and hope for from like a B movie.
But
like,
maybe some people are just turned off by the
look.
video.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like this is one of those movies where if you're having a bad movie party, this would be a really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
To
totally.
play it.
I would absolutely recommend it for that.
especially around Christmas.
Yeah, and even people that I don't think would be into these types of movies would really
Yeah.
have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
I should point out that unfortunately the director Michael Cooney,
Okay.
who's the most British person that you've ever heard. He's actually only directed Jack Frost 1 in 1997 and Jack Frost 2 in 2000, and he was gonna make a third one, but supposedly one of the things that turned him off, and we're gonna try to be very serious about this and not laugh.
Okay, now I did laugh when you told me this, but
I mean, it's very
I felt
difficult not
so
to.
bad,
it's
but
very
it was,
serious.
It's that the star of the film, who plays the sheriff, Christopher Alport, actually died after Jack Frost 2 was made in an avalanche.
So it's a
It's
very
as if like Jack Frost took his revenge.
Okay, so
very
was
ironic
it a
accent.
snow avalanche?
Yes. What is there any other kind of avalanche?
Yes, there are.
What?
A
Sand?
rock avalanche?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was skiing, and then. Okay, I'm laughing at the face that Colin is making. I have never seen him more red,
I don't know what you're talking about.
trying to cover his mouth. Yeah,
So
it's an ironic death.
The Jack Frost series is a real passion project for this director, and he never wanted to do anything else, I guess.
Or I don't think it works that way. I think he probably just couldn't get anything off the ground.
couldn't get anything.
He wrote
Why
the
not, though?
John Cusack Identity movie, the one
Oh,
that was directed by James
really?
Mangold.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Really?
That's a crazy movie too. If people remember that one,
I
The one
do.
that-
I saw it.
Spoiler,
I can't remember
It's
what
all
happens.
in the mind of a
Darty-eyed guy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, is it one of the Wahlbergs? No, who is
No,
it that
no.
plays that guy?
He's that guy with the darty eye issue.
I know, but it's like someone kind of half famous.
I might be thinking of the Mothman prophecies.
Oh, another great Christmas movie starring Richard Gere.
It came out, I think, around the same time.
You haven't
Wait.
seen the Mothman? Mothman
No.
prophecies is
Wait, hold
very
on.
serious.
That's the
Are
one
you
about the
telling
bridge
me that
collapsing, right?
Richard Gere did a Christmas movie called The Mothman Prophecy?
yeah, it's very
I
serious.
forgot that
seen
it took
it.
place at Christmas. Anyway, how can you find these movies? Santa with Muscles is available on VHS.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only place you can get it.
Yeah. Or wait, I'm gonna like turn into April now. It's on
YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
We found it on YouTube.
There's a very popular website you can find it on. But
It's
yeah,
called BitTorrent.
As far as we know, never got it a Blu-ray or DVD.
No.
It was actually released for 2 weeks in the theaters.
How much money did it make?
It made $200,000.
Okay. Wow.
I'm assuming the budget.
250, I think.
Well,
but,
I'm
yeah.
assuming it was a huge hit because maybe the budget was like $10,000.
yeah, but the Coke.
Come on.
The Coke cost
Yeah,
so
it
much.
had
For
a,
it was
it
like,
had a way
yeah.
bigger budget. The costumes alone. Remember when that building imploded? I think that was a
Yeah, that's pretty
miniature,
good.
but
That must have
Great
cost at least
they
miniature.
had
$100.
money
Miniatures
for
don't
that.
cost-
It was so
Nothing.
weird because Dan Stark and Mila Kunis would go on to star in
That 70s show. Do you think they met there?
Together.
Who got who the gig of that 70s show?
Yeah,
he's
really.
Like,
You
oh,
think
what
they
a
were like, remember Santa with muscles? Like every day they have like Santa
No,
with
Dan
muscles.
Stark
in
was
just-
like, "Oh man, that girl's so hot, I want to bang her," and he's like, "Oh my god, that was that girl in that
was
Santa
a
with
little
Muscles
girl."
movie."
And
classic Dan.
Jack Frost 2.
Oh, it's available on DVD.
It's on DVD as well.
It was shockingly, even though the DVD doesn't list it, it has commentary, making of, interviews. So it's basically a special edition. It came out in that like glory days where DVDs had to have all that stuff.
Oh, of course.
Even Jack Frost 2.
Do you remember when DVDs when they would have like the most elaborate
Menus?
menus,
And you're like, fuck.
and
I
you're
wanna
just like,
watch your
just
movie.
fucking, just
Jack
get
Frost
to the
2 has
menu.
one where
I
it's
remember-
like, oh, come on, let me make a choice.
I remember I had
Yeah.
like the Get to Mars edition of like Total Recall, and it was like it was in, and it was just the most elaborate.
X-Men was like
I
that
was
too.
just about
The
to say
shittiest-
X-Men because
yeah.
you go like through the doors and then you're like in the X
It's like
Mansion.
It's like you're in the X Mansion.
It
Crouching
never-
Tiger
it
too.
never
You had to like
stops.
watch a whole scene to get
Oh,
to the
really?
next
God.
menu. Yeah.
Oh, man.
You have to like
It's the
fight
worst.
Michelle Yeoh, and it's like, God damn it.
Just let me play. You know, it's funny because Blu-rays and DVDs have no transitions, nothing now.
Yeah.
It's just like just the
Thank
menu.
God.
Usually no motion either. It's just like just that. 'Cause that's all people want.
Yeah, it's like
Just a
playing a
little clip
video
in the
game and not being
background.
able to skip the cinematics.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like just because you can doesn't mean you should.
So that's it for this episode, you guys. I want you to keep. What's the Christmas equivalent of stay spooky?
Stay merry.
Yeah,
Stay Santa'd.
I want you to stay merry. And if you want to write in to the podcast, you can email us at. It's really hard to shake this and talk at the same time.
It's like no, it's like rubbing your belly
Hey,
and
this
patting
is
your
Justin.
head.
I'm here, and we're talking about. Oh, it is hard.
Yeah, it's like rubbing your belly and patting your
You
head.
can
We're all doing it now. We're all rubbing
You can
around.
email us
David
at
did
no
it.
such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com. And you can tweet at me. I'm at April at Mansky, and I also have Instagram.
You can reach me at Declue, DECLOUXJ on Twitter or on Letterboxd, Justin Declue. And yep, that's me, Justin Danger Dasher Declue.
What? Okay, I'm rubbing my belly and patting my head.
No, Dasher Danger, that'd be better, yeah. All right, where can we find you, Colin?
You can find me on Twitter. It's Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA. And same on Instagram. I'm still patting my head.
And we'll see you next week with more Christmas movies. Woo! What will they be? Who knows?
Well, 2 weeks.
Ooh,
Yeah.
spooky Christmas movies.
I'm the ghost of Christmas.
I'm the ghost of Jesus.
Okay, remember. Don't forget and remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.